Well, I think it's a very exciting time to be in e-commerce and retail media. And I think to answer your question about what's driving the interest, what's driving the excitement, is in a nutshell how the continued advances in digital technology and in connectivity are enhancing the customer experience and making the shopping process the more convenient and more enjoyable for end consumers. That has a corollary of creating additional business opportunities for retailers and for brands. And I think we're seeing this manifest in two ways. One is a lot of what we're talking about here is retail media being really a completely new business model or new revenue stream for retailers and a new way to engage consumers for brands. And then additionally, and somewhat in another dimension that affects distribution, the creation of new opportunities for shopping or for retail transactions to occur. So things that heretofore would be usage scenarios like kitchens, living rooms, cars, as we were talking about shoppable media, these suddenly become opportunities for transactions to occur.
So what's the role of the agency? I mean, agencies have always been involved with merchandising parts of their business as advisory, investing in merchandise, but this is different, isn't it? Like, what are the opportunities for brands to be involved, and what's the role of the agency?
Well, I think, agencies, we always look at ourselves as being good stewards of our clients' brands, advocating for them, helping them drive and grow their businesses. And being that growth partner is, I think, the primary role of the agency and what we embrace. More specific within that, and more specifically as it relates to e-commerce and retail media here, there's a couple of things. I think understanding the customer journey and the customer experience, and I'm here talking about the end customer, the consumer, and helping our client brands understand what's happening in this space and helping guide them to how they can or should engage with those end consumers, and then helping them actually implement those experiences, whether that's building and developing some owned and operated direct-to-consumer type experience or a media experience that might go through a retail media network, whether that be Amazon or Criteo or Walmart or Roundel or what have you. I think there's also a role that the agency plays, and I think this is maybe not as widely appreciated, but is in the same sense being a steward of our clients' brands and helping guide them, is helping them navigate the change in relationship that's occurring with the retailer. Historically, and still the preponderance of the relationship is the retailer is a customer of the brand. Well, as retail media grows, it flips that, and the brand is now the customer of the retailer. But you can't easily divorce those two. And so helping our clients stitch together the importance of both relationships, and often that involves how digital affects in-store, and the in-store experience goes right alongside the e-commerce experience.
So, Frank, what about the playing field of the big guys like Amazon and Walmart, and smaller ones, smaller retailers, niche retailers that want to get into this? How are they managing? How do they work with vendors, and how do you manage investment to look at maybe the smaller retailers that are worth the investment, but the scale is different?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. So in terms of how do we manage and guide our clients, including investment allocation across retailers, there's sort of some segmentation that comes out with that falls out of it naturally. Amazon has a certain amount of scale, Walmart does. Then as you get down the kind of progress through the retailers, Target, Kroger, still large scale, large digital audiences there. Then we start to see roles of what some platforms and aggregators, networks play. And that's, Criteo being a prime example there, where it's creating network, doing two things: creating network across retailers, but also providing the technology that allows the mid-sized and smaller retailers to cost effectively and meaningfully participate in this opportunity. So that's, kind of how we broadly look at it. I mean, we leverage a lot of tools, channel planners, investment planners within our Omni platform that are based on historical data to help our clients and our client service teams allocate funding budgets between the different retailers, like we do with other media channels. Of course, we have to take into account additional signals beyond media signals, and those include, the commerce related signals of sales and performance, return on sales.
Which leads me to my final question. What would you like to have from your vendors, tools that would make your work more efficient?
Well, that's a great question. Like what we would like to see from vendors and tools. I think like the easy answer there is data. Like everyone says, data, but it is what I think is exciting about what we're doing here is we're trying to connect the comprehensive vertical experience and expertise needed to drive results on any retailer like Amazon or Walmart or Kroger, and connecting it to the broad experience of media. So when I think about like what we need kind of at an industry is the right tools with and with the appropriate privacy safeguards to make those connections so that we can better connect the e-commerce experience with the media experience. I think there's a lot of clean room initiatives that are occurring in the industry, which go in exactly that direction. Evolving those, building those are examples of what I find interesting, and that we're investing a lot of time and resource into to make those connections. But in general, that type of connectivity and insight in a scalable way is what I'm looking for. What I would suggest will help move the industry forward.